What are you waiting on, partner?
Welcome to the Coaching Life Podcast, Coach. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
The sun's shining here in the pod.
The pod. That's what we call it. Yeah.
How's it going?
Not bad. Not bad.
Saw you at the,
Getting our bearings here. I just got here. I got here right before you did.
You're starting to enjoy not coming in right in the morning.
Well, I had reason for it.
Oh.
So class is over.
Right.
And we've got,
Did you get all your grading
this is
done?
finals week. No, that's why I've been home.
I got you.
Yeah. I told my, my CFAO, I can't get any grading done when I'm here at the building. I just can't, because I have this job, and like the teaching job, the instructor job is just, it's got to be separate. Like I can't once I sit down to start grading, I've got to get after it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a podcasting class, so I've got half of them are essays and half of them are written or audio files that I've got to listen to and then critique and put a grade on it.
Right.
I've got 30 students. And I had 90 things to grade.
Nice.
So, yeah, I was up till 1 a.m. last night.
90 is that, and that was just at the end of the class, or
that was just me getting behind.
I see.
You got to remember, this is a class that I wasn't expecting to teach.
So in the future, future, you'll be ahead of this.
Absolutely. I will have to be, because I was giving assignments. They were turning assignments in, posting them to Blackboard, and at the same time, I was also spending my entire weekend preparing for the upcoming week, building the course.
Right.
Because it was something that it was last minute. It was last minute.
It's like the first year coaching.
Pretty much.
You're trying to do things and figure out what you're supposed to do all at the same time.
Especially when you're hired like a month before.
Yeah. True.
For sure.
All right. Well, good deal. I hope that settles down for you.
I feel better. I'm a little caught up now. So now all I have left to grade are the finals. So I've given them till Friday tomorrow, basically, to get their final project in.
Oh, okay. Well, you're good then.
So it's another reflection. Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't. So the deadline's not done. So you are all caught up. You're good to go.
Yeah, the deadline for grades is Wednesday next week. So
okay. Good deal.
Yeah.
Good job, Coach.
So it was fun. I'm looking forward to doing it again. I'm actually going to do the spring, like normal, like this past fall, and the class has gone from 30 this fall to they're allowing 40 in it. In the spring. Yeah, exactly. But it also has gone from a Tuesday, Thursday, hour and 20 minute long, 3 credit hour course to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 50 minute per session, 50 minutes per class, Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the spring.
Will that be easier?
Same course, same exact course.
Yeah. Give you more time to fit things in.
I think it will be, yeah, even though I had an hour and 20 minutes twice a week, I felt like, it chopped it up too much. If we had a little more consistency, and it's going to give, it'll give us opportunities to do, we did quite a few in-class activities, which is a lot of fun. I thought it was fun. I don't know. Hopefully they did too. We'll find out the evaluations, I guess.
Yeah. Do they do, student course evaluation?
Yeah. I'm supposed to push those. Keep getting reminders from, I guess it's the registrar's office. Remind your students to fill out the evaluation.
I'm working on a project right now, building a solution so that students can submit tutorial evaluations for the Honors Tutorial College. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and that's your project.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We're building that up.
Yeah. I've got a couple of HTC students who work as our ambassadors.
Cool.
Yeah. Some pretty top-notch young men and women in that program, for sure.
Make it there, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
What's our topic today, Coach?
Well, I had a friend tell me that when we were talking about how we come up with topics on a weekly basis, and sometimes I told him sometimes we don't have it until that morning.
Yeah.
And I said, it's, after a while it gets, like, what have we talked about before? We don't want to rehash things. But even when we come in with something we think is going to be similar to what we've talked about before, there's always some kind of fresh perspective on it, I think.
Sure.
Even if it's not new perspective, it's different in a way. I don't think there's nothing new under the sun, really. Right. I mean, you can only get so many new ideas.
The wheel has been invented.
Yeah, but I think some things just need to be repeated over and over again. Yeah, for sure.
To current situations.
Yeah. But what this guy said was, hey, why don't you guys just sit behind the microphones and talk? Like, that's not very interesting. Like, well, but people you would enjoy that. Well, yeah, but our podcast isn't just people who know us. So
Right.
Yeah.
We've got people from all over the
It's
world
international.
watching now.
Watching, yes.
Listening
On the
to us.
YouTubes. So a lot has happened this week in the sports world. And can you all hear
Sounds
that
like
out there?
here in A-Town, something's going on as well.
Turn this mic up. Maybe we can hear it a little better. I don't know where
there it
the
went.
sirens are. Yeah. There's nobody here. I don't know who could be getting in trouble.
Right.
People, like this building is quiet today.
I made the mistake of parking around the corner. I should have came
right up
here
in
park,
front. Yeah. Could keep an eye on the meter, and if we saw the meter person, we could run out in the middle of the podcast and put it in. Excuse me. Something happened this week in a football game that a lot of people have been talking about, an NFL game that a lot of people have been talking about, and I think it's worth dedicating a podcast episode to, because it's relevant to leadership. It's relevant to controlling your emotions, or it's really relevant to your response to adversity.
Yeah, your performance
and your performance for sure. What are you focusing on? And of course, by now, people who in the sports world, just with that bit of introduction, probably have an idea that we're talking about the way Patrick Mahomes reacted to probably the first flag that he's ever received.
Right. Yeah. So it seemed that way.
Yeah. And the truth is they've gotten, they were on the raw end of a no call a week ago against who did they lose to last week? I love saying that. Who'd they lose to last week? They're losing a lot more than what people are used to.
Shoot,
and see, that's the point, I think, is they're facing some adversity. His receivers are not catching his passes. He's not playing very well. He's made some poor decisions. He's always made poor decisions, but he's just had people to bail him out. Tyreek Hill, and a mix of Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce is pretty good for bailing out some pretty dumb throws that you might make over the years.
Absolutely.
Some amazing throws. I mean, the guy's amazing.
Oh, he is. Yeah. There was a conversation that I had with someone else that just talking about if, because everyone is upset that they played the Packers last week. Packers are playing really good right now.
Yeah, they are.
Everyone's upset.
That's who it was. Yeah.
Everyone was upset that 11 teams passed on Patrick Mahomes, I think, or maybe 10 teams.
Okay.
Because I think the Chiefs traded up to 11 in front of the Browns 12 to take Mahomes. But the Browns drafted Myles Garrett #1 that year. So, one thing, Browns fans are always like, we should have drafted Patrick Mahomes, even though Myles Garrett's a phenomenal player. But a success in the NFL runs straight through a quarterback.
Yeah.
You got to have a great one.
Man, Myles Garrett has won you guys a lot of games.
Oh, yeah. And
I mean, obviously you can't, not one person in a football team doesn't win. But
right. But it definitely impacts the way that the other offenses play and, what they can do for sure.
Yeah.
But I think Patrick Mahomes found himself in a great situation. I mean, with a great coach and with a lot of talent around him, and was able to helps him be the quarterback that he is.
Without a doubt.
If there's no confidence in my soul that if the Browns would have drafted Patrick Mahomes with that #1 overall pick, that he would be the quarterback that he is today, because a lot of quarterbacks have come and gone. And
I agree. I don't think he'd be
America City.
I sent you a picture of a Cleveland Browns candle last night, and I said, what do you suppose this smells like? And I was, expecting like dog crap or something like that. But I sent it to a Browns fan.
Right.
And so your response was?
Smells like America. That's right.
America is in trouble right now. So I could see why you say that.
Why do you think so? We're going to go off
economically. No.
Going to stick to sports.
Let's stick to sports.
Stick to dribbling.
Yeah, this isn't a political podcast. Not always. We stay out of that arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but no, I think here's the thing for me, Pat, with this whole thing. I mean, it's for one, I've seen commentators say that this is a call that is pretty rare, has historically been rare in the NFL. However, this year it's been called 12 times, as opposed to last year was 3, the year before 1, I think, something like that.
Right.
Those are just numbers off the top of my head. And so obviously it's been a point of emphasis in the NFL.
Mhm.
So why hasn't that been communicated to your offense? To a guy that, I mean, somebody pointed out that he lined up offsides all night long in the game.
Yeah.
It's just that last time was egregious. I mean, his head was over the ball. The side judge, the line judge couldn't even see the football. So you got to throw the flag.
Yeah.
And so, but here's the thing that's interesting to me is when you watch the play, the play's unfolding in front of you and the flag goes up as soon as the ball is snapped. The flag goes up. So in essence, what Patrick Mahomes is wanting is he's wanting the officials to look at the result of the play and say, wow, that was amazing, which, by the way, it was pretty amazing.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. The lateral that Travis Kelce threw, the tight spiral, quarterback from University of Cincinnati throwing that tight spiral to the same dude that was offsides. What's his last name? Tony.
Tony.
And so the ref that threw the flag has no, like that could have been an incomplete pass.
Right.
No big deal. 5-yard penalty. Is Patrick Mahomes crying that hard about that penalty if that particular play hadn't happened?
No.
No way.
Right.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
even if it was just a 10-yard completion, I'd be like, that's disappointing, right? But we'll take it. You know, we'll take our 5 yards and replay the down.
Right.
In fact, when this John Boy Media, we were watching this before we got on. I can't play it because it's licensed, I'm sure. But
right.
It's interesting to me because this John Boy Media summary of this does a really great job of showing all of the camera angles of the after second down, after third down and a timeout, and even his offensive coordinator approaching him. Like Patrick is still, he has not let it go.
Right.
Mahomes cannot let it go. He's like, offensive offsides. It's a worst effing call. Offensive offside. They had just run another play.
Yeah.
And he's still whining about it. And then they call timeout and he goes over and stands on the sidelines and his offensive coordinator comes up to him and says, hey, forget about it, man. Let's go win it right here. And he still can't let it go. There's the problem. I'm like, dude, that's the first time I noticed. I'm like, this isn't the guy I thought he was.
Well, that's because, was a couple years ago, the Bills were playing the Chiefs and they kept going back and forth. Like in the last 3 minutes of the game, it was just like
they always do.
It was touchdown. And everyone was making a big deal. This is something that I told, I used as an example with my baseball team, is that when Patrick Mahomes was on the sideline, his heart rate was 120.
You've mentioned that on this podcast.
Yeah. And when he went back into the huddle, it was
slowed way down
in the 60s, 70s. And he lost that focus right there that he's demonstrated in the past. And, as I give credit to the offensive coordinator because I was there. I was watching the game when they called through the flag and I was like, oh, that stinks.
Right.
I still thought they were on the 46.
Oh yeah.
I still thought they're winning.
They have before.
It's first and
they've
15.
done it before. Yeah. I can't believe that he could not let it go.
Right.
And at some point you got to say, okay, we've done this before. Let's do it. But they haven't had the adversity before.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's been harder.
The officiating adversity, at least. Everybody has a little bit.
The officiating has been bad in the NFL.
It has.
It's been
and it's just so happened to be a little more bad for them than what they're used to. I got a feeling.
Well, you
think so?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, look at their outside
more.
tackle. The tackle. If you go back and look at that play, I wish we could kind of put it up on our screen.
Yeah.
But their tackle on the opposite side of the camera angle is lined up in the backfield all night long and on that play. Yeah. So not only was your receiver offsides, but your tackle also had illegal procedure as well.
Right.
Because he was lined up. But they let that go. And they do that to get that extra step on the rushing defensive end.
Yeah. I mean, the Browns defensive end Myles Garrett was held his jersey was ripped that he was held so much in the Jaguars game Sunday, and he complained about the officials as well. We won, but he still complained. He said they're gonna have to.
Afterwards in the press conference, did he say something?
Yeah, which I was surprised. But what I thought he was complaining about originally was a pass interference call that happened late in the game where our defender was just standing there and the receiver ran into him. They called pass interference saying he didn't let him get to the ball. Joe Flacco threw an interception earlier in the game on a play very similar. So the officiating has been inconsistent.
We can all agree with that.
Yeah, sure. And the next day, like on Monday Night Football, there was a very similar play that happened. A guy was lined up off sides just like that, and they didn't throw the flag. But, we've always said that. You can call holding call on every play.
I mean, that's the way right.
So it's there's not a lot of difference there. The officials aren't great this year, or particularly in a year when they haven't been held to a certain standard. What the situation is. It's 1st and 15. You're on the 46. You have time. You're the Chiefs. You're Patrick Mahomes. And he allowed that to completely take him out of that game.
2 minutes left almost, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because I think
he doesn't
even
need
if
2 minutes.
I think it's like a minute 36 because if they score that touchdown, like if there is no penalty and or if they do what Patrick wanted them to do, and that is confer and decide, hey, that was a really cool play, so we need to shake this flag off. And
right.
Like, is that what he wanted them to do?
Yeah,
because the guy threw the flag. He didn't wait to see the end of the play and then throw the flag. It wasn't screwing you, Patrick. He wasn't. Yeah.
It was like taking away something that great in the game of football.
That's not the first time it's happened. Trust me.
Right.
All of us who watch other teams see it happen all the time.
Yeah.
You Chiefs fans are like, what happened there? Oh, first time? That's what I want. That's actually what I wanted Josh Allen to say to him. This is the other thing that irked. This irked me the most. Like all the whining in between downs where you can't let it go. That's one thing.
There's two things. Yeah, but that was one. That's
number two. Number one, Number one is when you're shaking hands at the end of a game and you're meeting the quarterback. And I know they're friends and I know they work out together in the off seasons and everybody's like, oh, Josh would understand. I don't care. If it's you and me, we're good friends. You don't want to hear me saying, man, worst umpiring call I've ever seen in my life. There's a play at the plate. He calls him out. I thought the guy was safe, clearly under the tag. You guys win, we lose. And the last thing that I'm thinking about saying to you
is something about that. Yeah.
Man, what an immature player. That's immaturity. I don't care. I don't care what you say. That's immaturity.
Yeah. Well, and I think, one of the things that I would say, the reason this is valid and something that we should talk about is because younger players should see this.
Yeah.
And they should use this as an example because, Patrick Mahomes came back out. He apologized for the way that, for his response to the play. He apologized to,
it took a whole day because Josh he still Allen. Went in the locker room, had a chance to take a shower and then get on the mic and talk about it still, along with Andy Reid, which is really disappointing. Although I think Andy Reid may have been trying to save.
Could have been saved. Yeah, right. But I mean, I don't have even in that case, I don't have a problem. Like I say, don't let it bother you during the game. Don't let it bother you in the hand, when you're talking. Because if you're going to do that, don't even go up just go to the locker room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just go to the locker room.
Forget the handshake you're saying.
Yeah.
Handshakes are stupid anyway.
Well, I mean, in this case, do you think Patrick Mahomes wanted to shake hands?
No.
He wasn't
obviously he wasn't mentally capable of doing it the right way.
Right. Yeah, sure. But as to go onto the into the press conference and if you want to complain there, because what's going to happen, he's going to get fined.
Has he?
You can't. I haven't heard it yet. But you can't.
Everybody else.
You can't publicly.
Right.
Anytime you do that, you're going to get fined.
Which is ridiculous, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
here's the thing. Either allow coaches and players to speak the truth about their perspective on the way officials called the game, or make an official stand behind the mic and answer questions as well.
Hold them accountable. I think that's the goal for the NFL. I think that's one big thing that they have to do instead of continuing to make rules they're talking about making this rule for the what the way they call it, the hip tackle. And they're like, so when we look at the hip drop tackle, we're looking at a guy grabbing, rolling, and pulling. And we're like, okay, so you're looking for three things that you're looking for, and NFL officials can't get a helmet-to-helmet call right.
I mean, I don't know how. Like, I don't know how. Two things. One, I don't know how a defensive lineman ever legally tackles a quarterback.
Not
I mean,
anymore.
like you got all of your momentum coming, and all of a sudden he releases the ball a split second before you make contact, and somehow you're supposed to hit him and not land on him.
Yeah.
Or else it's 15 yards.
Pull him
It's
over on top
incredible
of
to
it. And
me.
I've seen them call
that gets
it when,
called all the time.
Yeah. I've seen it called it when they did pull him down.
And here's why it gets called all the time. Because the NFL wants them to.
Yeah.
See, that's the
sure.
problem.
It's
like,
emphasized.
let's take up for the officials here for a second. They have over-governed. The
That's true.
NFL has over-legislated this game to where everything that we said this a couple years ago when they started adding additional parameters for other different rules for what a catch is and all this. It's like the way to make a game better is not by adding more rules. It's by creating more freedom.
No.
I mean, people might get hurt. Well, you know what? It's a violent sport.
They're still getting hurt.
It's a violent sport.
22 starting quarterbacks have been hurt this year.
We have gone to extreme lengths to protect quarterbacks.
And they're still getting
hurt.
And
look at all the starters how many different quarterbacks have been used in the NFL this year? I heard the number was up in the 50s.
I don't know for sure. I just know like 22 starting quarterbacks have missed a game this year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the Browns have used 3 different quarterbacks.
4.
4?
Yeah. Flacco's our 4th.
Wow.
We have Watson, PJ
so they're
Walker.
Contributing to that number.
Yeah, and we grew.
Everybody is.
We grew our jersey, our 25 name quarterback jersey. That
I got a jersey. Nathan Rourke got called up this week. I got a jersey story for you that's kind of funny. A little light humor here to lighten up the mood a second. So Nathan was wearing number 18 in the preseason, and that was his number. He's switched to 12, which is the Nathan Rourke number, right?
Yeah.
And so Nathan got called up for the Jaguars. They didn't know if Trevor was going to play for sure or not. Although by the time he got called up, they did know. In fact, I texted him and said, "Hey, congrats! We can't wait to watch the game. We're going to be supporting you. We kind of don't want you to get in because somebody's got to get hurt, right? But if you do, we hope you do. We hope you do great." And he responded back, "Thanks. Hope you all doing great." And he also said, "Don't worry. Trevor is playing."
And I wonder why they activated him if Trevor was going to play. I think it was a ploy.
Yeah, it might have been.
I don't know.
I have no idea because I'll tell you this right now. That was not a high ankle sprain.
I don't
care what you say.
Going on, yeah.
Like he had no limp.
Nah,
he ran, he cut.
There at the end of the game, he had a great run for a first down.
That
or at least got him close to a first down that kept their drive alive. So yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, T.O. I think may have been Des Bryant. Might have been Des Bryant years ago. It wasn't that long ago. One of my guys, one of my Cowboys, who by the way, on their way.
Yeah, I think
they're on their way.
I think they might be the favorite.
But it's either T.O. or Des Bryant. Got a high ankle sprain. Dude was out 6 weeks.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. What are they doing? Some kind of magic formula that they're injecting into these ankles or something.
I don't know. And Aaron Rodgers is coming back from that torn Achilles.
I mean, I know modern medicine is phenomenal. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, but this was just like last year.
I know.
Like
I know.
Something crazy.
So, but yeah, to go back to your point, though, quarterbacks are not more protected.
No,
they're not. Mm-mm. But we've added all these rules to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Football's a violent sport.
It is.
Athletics
Based
in general.
On violent collisions.
Yeah, a lot of sports are contact sports, and there's a chance that people are going to get hurt. The only way to eliminate that is to not play.
Yeah.
That's the only way. And so you know it going in. You know it when you sign up to play football. When you sign your kids up to play football, there's a chance that they're going to have some kind of injury that they're going to carry with them the rest of their life.
Right.
There's a good chance of that, right? But we play it anyway. And I'm fine with that. I'm good with that, right?
You have to be if you're an athlete.
You can't be afraid of. I mean, you can't just go around life in fear. No. I mean, if you enjoy the game, then it's a risk. And so I don't know. I get it. People are bigger, stronger, faster than they ever have been before, and that's helping. It's contributing to the increase of injuries. But the over legislation and over governing the game with more and more rules, I don't know. It's just
and we and then we add games to the schedule.
Right.
Yeah, it's like
right.
Let's protect these guys at all costs, but let's add another game to the schedule. And why do they do that? They do that for money.
Mm-hmm.
So in adding that other game is just going to continue to contribute to more injuries.
Yeah.
These guys are tired. They're beat up every week. If anything, you should be shortening the schedule instead of increasing it. But what I was going to say though, Coach, Patrick Mahomes apologized.
Yes.
And he said, I should have handled it different with Josh Allen. I should have, and even he reached out to Josh Allen and they talked, and
I'm sure Josh was like, no big deal.
Oh yeah, I think so too. But there's people out there now now Mahomes' reputation has been damaged by the way that
Oh,
he
absolutely.
acted there, by the way that he responded in multiple ways, not just in the middle of the game when he should have been focused on the next
Right.
play, which he was more than in his offense was more than capable of coming back.
We all knew that. Why he didn't know it, I think
I'll he was the
understand.
only one, and especially given that the offense coordinator told him, hey, just let it go. We're good.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah,
and that's what a good coach does. But two, his reputation was damaged, and if you're a high school athlete and you're in a situation like this, and people are watching you.
Yeah,
you have scouts, you have college coaches. People are paying attention to these games, and something like that happens. That's going to be the proverbial black eye on who you are as a player.
That's right,
and it's going to make those people kind of question whether they want you in their program or not. And that whether it's fair or not, that's the way it is. Because
it is.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes has been great. He's been a model NFL citizen for most of the majority of his career now. And now here you go. Now people are talking about him being a baby and things like that. And that's the consequences. And that's why we always talk about it's important to focus on these things. It's important to think about these things. Prepare yourself to handle things like this. We talk about you can't worry about what you can control.
Right.
And in that moment,
oh yeah,
Patrick Mahomes was not worried about what he could control. He was worried about the play before, which was gone.
Good word. That's a really good word. Yeah, there's no. I completely lost what I was going to say. I can't remember what I was going to say.
Yeah,
you made me speechless there. That,
well, it's true in life.
That's
too.
a good rant. Yeah,
right.
Well, it takes me back to the old formula that Tim and Brian Kite, I think, maybe borrowed from John Gordon, who wrote the book Energy Bus, and put this in there. And then they developed an entire curriculum around it and take it to school systems and teach them. They taught it to Urban Meyer, who then taught it to the Ohio State University football team. And then Urban Meyer took credit for it when he wrote his book Above the Line. But that formula is E plus R equals O.
Yep.
And those letters stand for event plus something equals outcome. And that something is the most important aspect of every event that you face in your life. And that is response.
It's the only thing you can control.
How you respond. Yeah, because you can't control the event that happened, and you can't control the outcome, although you can impact the outcome based on your response.
Absolutely.
The outcome could be different depending on how you respond. So that's how powerful that R factor is you have the power to actually influence the outcome of this really bad event. You could influence it positively or negatively. And just this case as an experiment, as an example, this is a terrible event. I mean, it was a horrible thing to have that touchdown called back. That could have very well been the winning touchdown, although you still had a minute 36 and Josh Allen on the other side, who's been known to make some game-winning drives of his own. Still, I get it. You're upset about that. You're thinking that the outcome here is it's going to be harder to win. I mean, I can't imagine Patrick Mahomes is thinking, well, the outcome of that is we're now going to lose. We only got a minute 36 and we're on the 46-yard line.
That's how he responded.
It is.
Right.
I can't that's what's so surprising.
Me too. Yeah.
Is that, well, that's where his mind went, apparently.
Yes.
And
he was distracted.
Yeah. And so, but the reality is, what if your response is different than what his response was? And that is, okay, this happened. We can't control it. I got to flush it. I got to get rid of it because weak outcome. We're still going to win this game. Not we can. We're still going to win this game.
Right.
And we're just going to do it with the next play or maybe the next 2 or 3 plays. But we got a minute 36 and we're going to go win this game.
Yeah.
And that focus may have changed the outcome of the next 3. Was that first down when that happened?
I was wrong. I said it and I don't know
the next
why
2
I forgot,
downs?
But it was second down when they made the touchdown play.
So they replayed second down.
It was second.
Then you had
and
third
15.
and fourth.
So you had second, third, and fourth.
Yeah.
So
you still had 3 downs.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to assume that, well, to focus on a negative outcome and respond to that negative outcome with, is well, you contributed to the negative. The outcome.
I mean,
ended up negative.
15 yards with the Chiefs offense. I mean, the Browns have played the Chiefs, and I know sitting there, it's like every play,
you're
they
nervous wreck.
They never get less than 15 yards. You know what I mean?
I know.
And they had 3 plays to do it for a first down.
He just won a Super Bowl on one leg, supposedly, by doing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, he had to run around like that against the Eagles last year, and I don't know. So the lesson there is, man, your response makes a huge difference.
Yes,
response makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and as coaches, we should praise our players in situations where that happens.
Yes,
we should seek them out as well. Right. When an umpire or a basketball official or a football official makes a bad call, or a volleyball official, because I made a couple this year, when a line judge, when they make a bad call, evaluate that situation and say, hey, here's our opportunity to respond to this in a positive way.
Yeah.
And that might be hard to do in the heat of the moment, but if your players do respond to it in a positive way, make sure you go back to that and let them know, because that makes them a better player. It makes you a better team
and a better person, because even if it is the last call of the game and the outcome is not going to change, the outcome is you lose, there's still other outcomes from that event, right? Like losing is just one variable. The other outcomes are your reputation, your team chemistry, your leadership, right? That, and the way you respond impacts all of those outcomes, not just the win-losing one. And so there's just so much to it. But also, in addition to having the response, you got to be prepared to respond for that, because that's the thing that was shocking to me is Andy Reid prepares his teams like no other coach in the NFL. I mean, he's phenomenal. How is Patrick Mahomes not prepared mentally for that to happen, right? How are you not? And this is one of the things that Tim and Brian Kite used to teach on there in that Focus 3 E plus R equals O curriculum, the R factor they called it, and that is, you need to have a system in place, a personal system, not a plan, a system where every day you're operating by this system, that when bad things happen and I've got to respond to them, what's going to be my plan? Like how am I going to do that? Right. So that you're not surprised. You're not surprised by it. It's, I actively teach our baseball players this. I say, listen, how many of you have ever seen a game where there were 0 strikeouts? You might see one, but it's rare, right? There's a lot of errors in baseball. There are a lot of mistakes. There are a lot of opportunities for you to get upset. So here's the thing. Why are we shocked when it happens?
Yeah.
Right? Like
baseball has a ton of failure in it.
Yeah.
Like a game has failure all over the place. Yeah.
And so to act like, oh, I can't believe that happened. Right. Yeah. Well, why do you mean you can't believe it happened? People strike out all the time. Of
course it does.
He beat you this time. All right. Just be ready for it. Right. We're saying expect it, anticipate it. We're saying be ready when it happens for how you're going to respond to it so that you could be better the next time and moving forward.
Yep. That's true in life too.
Yeah. That is a life lesson, like what we talked about last week.
Of course it is. Because bad things are going to happen to you. Every day is not going to be your best day. And, there's nothing you can do about it but respond to it. That's it. And how are you going to respond, negative or positive? So, expect that there's going to be bad moments in life, because there are, for sure.
And that's, the people who respond, people who temper their response or have a response. Like you may not know exactly how you're going to respond to an event before it happens, obviously, but by being the type of person who anticipates that this could happen, and when it does, I can't be surprised. I got to say, okay, let's press pause here. Let's take a deep breath. Let's think about this. How many times did Patrick Mahomes have the opportunity to just take a deep breath, right? 4 rip 3.
Yeah.
Right. Release breath. All right. Something physical. Give me something to drink, right? On the sideline, 2-minute warning or timeout. Okay. refocus, breath. Let's go get this.
And it's amazing because he had people around him telling him to do that,
reminding him of those things.
So he just lost it. I feel like maybe he's got a lot of pressure on him right now. Maybe one bad
moment. Right.
Heck, in my mind, they're still the favorite to go to the Super Bowl. I know they're
always dangerous.
Heck yeah. Do you want to play them in the playoff? I mean, how do the Cowboys match up with them? How does your Jake Browning led Bengals match up to? Are you a Bengals fan right now?
Well, heck yeah, man.
Okay, I didn't know
because Burrow's not playing.
Burrow wasn't playing.
I'm pretty excited about it. I love quarterback controversy. Like these people that are saying these. I mean, there's not a controversy, but they're like you texted me last night. There are legit Browns fans who Bengals fans who sound like Browns fans, and are saying
we haven't had Joe Burrow.
Trade Joe Burrow.
Yeah, like they're entertaining it. Right. Like, yeah, maybe for a really good player, 3 first-round draft picks.
Yeah. I saw somebody say, this just proves that Joe Burrow is a product of the system. And my thought was, the system? Wait a minute. Joe Burrow is the system. Like what were the Bengals doing before Joe got there? And what was Joe doing before he got to the Bengals? Oh, remember LSU, the greatest college football season that any team has ever had in college football, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Undisputed.
Listen, I would much rather Jake Browning be the quarterback of a team in our division than Joe Burrow.
Ask every team in the league who they'd rather have. Right. Yeah, and I'm loving seeing this Jake Browning play. I'm loving his just quiet humility and just getting it done, right?
The question is, who would you rather have, Jake Browning or Joe Flacco?
That's a good question. I'd rather have Joe Flacco.
Would you?
Joe's been there, man.
He is. I think that does help.
I mean,
man, we've got.
It's going to help tremendously down the stretch. I mean, you're getting close to playoff time now.
We have 10 guys on our injured list, and we have 10 guys on injured reserve. We just lost both of our tackles to injured reserve.
Whew.
We lost one of our starting defensive tackles.
And that's something that
starting safety
different for the Bengals. I think they're still using every single one of their starters on the offensive line.
That's awesome.
And that's an anomaly.
Yeah.
And they've the last 2 seasons they have been late bloomers. That team has been because for some reason Zach Taylor doesn't play them in the
preseason. Now is Burrow on the IR or can he come back?
He's out for the season, I believe.
He is out.
Yeah.
I wasn't for sure.
Yeah. So it'd be kind of cool to see them make the play. I mean, right now they're 1 game back from a wild card spot, I think, behind Indianapolis. Even though they have the head, it's kind of a weird thing. They have the head-to-head against Indianapolis. They both have the same record of 7-6, something like that.
Are they behind them?
The reason why they're behind them is because if there's 3 teams tied, the next tiebreaker is the conference record, and the Bengals conference record's terrible.
Horrible.
The worst team in the conference.
Their division is horrible too.
Or division, yeah.
They're 0-4 in the bill. Well, that hurts their
worst team in the division.
Yeah. So, but they're right there neck and neck. I think there's like 5 teams 7-6, and then the Browns are 8-5. So I'm rooting for all those teams to lose every week.
Well, I mean, it's the thing. People are like, Pittsburgh fans, like in Pittsburgh, everybody looks at Pittsburgh like, man, that team is terrible. Well, they're tied for second place in that division, right? Along with 2 other teams, but
that's why this is like.
They're not terrible.
A Steeler fan did pitch me a pretty good argument about getting rid of Mike Tomlin the other day, and I was just like, I don't know. He's doing such a good job. I think the Browns coach should get coach of the year right now for as many injuries we've had and going through 4 quarterbacks to be 8-5 and owning the wild card. It's just
there's a lot of talent on that team.
They are very talented.
But to lose Nick Chubb and a starting quarterback.
Yeah, Watson. We've lost 2 right tackles, 1 left tackle, starting safety.
I heard Myles Garrett's a little banged up.
He is. I think he was better last week, but still not great. Yeah. But they were all over him, and they were legit. But they do every game. They hold him every game.
Yep.
But you know what's funny with Myles Garrett?
I love the one game where he was getting double teamed by 2 tight ends. Like the offense was double teaming a defensive player. And so he is so smart, man. He started switching sides back and forth. Well, both of those guys were following him, and he just didn't stop. And so they were like, you can't have 2 people in motion, and they got an illegal motion penalty on them because of just following Myles Garrett.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
So, but he got up there and he said, we got to stop the hack-a-shack stuff because he's saying that they just don't call things because of him.
Hold him.
But see, there's kind of a crack in his armor too, because a couple years ago, someone posted a video on Twitter and tagged him in it, and the video was 2 guys holding him, legit holding him, 2 guys at the same time. and they didn't call
What
it.
was his response?
His response was, "I need to get in the weight room more," which was awesome.
Yeah.
Right? That's like, wow, yeah. But now it's like, well, we need to quit with this Hack Shack.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like
it's not that you don't agree with that sentiment, right? Like, yeah, it is wrong to let two people hold a player just because he's really good and let it go because he's so dominant.
But there's a system to do that.
The way you responded previously, stay there.
Right.
Just stay there.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's awesome. Like Myles Garrett. And then when he does this, it's like, I don't like it. I'd rather him not. Yeah. We won the game. The officials were horrible. Hey, we were the benefactor of a pass interference call on a ball against the 49ers, on a ball that got thrown 20 yards out of bounds. I mean, he couldn't have caught that thing on 2 step ladders.
This might be the first time in a long time that if you were to like weigh the for and against calls being a benefactor of a bad call, that the scale would tip in favor of the Browns. Browns always are on the poor end of bad calls, it seems like.
I don't know.
Or bad luck
we've
or whatever.
Still been hammered. We have gotten
they've
a
had
few.
some pretty good ones this year.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one against Minnesota also that
we didn't play Minnesota.
Not Minnesota. Who was it? I don't
49ers.
know. It might have been the 49ers one that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The pass interference call. But we can't make our way around the NFL here. I mean, and finish this podcast today without talking about America's team.
That we just did. We're talking about the Browns. We've been talking about the Browns.
We're talking about
there's no team or fan base that represents the heart of America more than the Cleveland Browns. You're talking about loyalty,
people in Cleveland.
Grit. I'm not in Cleveland.
There for some reason, and this is well known across the country.
We travel well.
The most arrogant
Browns
people from Cleveland
club.
say we are the perfect American dialect. Like what's American dialect sound like? Like what's an American accent? People in Cleveland. Come on.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Go to rural Appalachia. There's your American dialect.
That's the heart of it all right there.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about the Cowboys?
Man, they're on the move, aren't they?
Their fans are so fair weather. It makes me sick, especially the guy that's sitting across from me right now.
Listen, I have been a lifelong Dallas Cowboys fan.
Coach Stewart up at Fisher Catholic.
Thanks to Biswadit J. Ganguly.
Jerry
BJ
Jones. We're never going to be successful with that owner.
Well, that's not wrong.
You are right now.
I mean, how is that different than Browns fans just constantly bemoaning their team? Just because we're not used to hearing that from Dallas fans because there's been so much success that when it has happened since 1996, they haven't done anything, legit. And it just so happens to be that those were the early Jerry Jones years, and they were still winning on the back of those Jimmy Johnson years, the coach that Jerry had to let go because of his ego. I don't know.
I got a question for you, Coach. How do you feel about Mike McCarthy?
There are aspects to his coaching that make me scratch my head.
Because last year at this time, you wanted to fire him.
And you know what? It might have been maybe they got rid of the right guy. Maybe the issue was the OC because McCarthy's calling the plays now.
Yeah,
he's an offensive guy. They got rid of Kellen Moore.
I'm usually a company man. You know that, don't you? When it comes to the Browns, I usually side with the team.
Stand up with the company.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
good.
I support it.
Well, I mean, you want to win, and you see it. You see something that's keeping you from winning, and that something is a coach, right?
But he's not now.
Kellen Moore?
No, McCarthy.
He's the head coach.
Yeah, I know. He's not keeping you from winning.
No, I mean, maybe he was not the big problem. Maybe the problem last year really was the offensive coordinator.
Maybe.
And I still think Mike McCarthy's time management sucks.
So
they just haven't had to show that in the last few games
because they've been in trouble in the playoffs. You're going to be like, oh, we got to fire Mike McCarthy.
I don't know about fire, but just you can become a Browns fan for a few minutes and complain about it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
No,
Browns
complaining.
fans
No complaining
Browns
allowed.
fans do.
No BCD.
Yeah, we talked about the other day in
That's right.
basketball practice.
Yep. No blaming, complaining, or making excuses.
Facing, yeah.
So what do you think? I mean,
just be aware, young athletes, high school athletes, be aware of these situations. Don't allow it. Don't let your immediate response be anger. Evaluate what happened and know that, hey, if this is an opportunity for me to grow as an athlete, as a person. And I'm a firm believer that if you're able to control your emotions in those moments, and I'm not saying I've always done it. Of course I haven't.
No. Yeah. I mean, neither one of us.
Right.
I mean,
but I caught myself the other day during a basketball game getting upset about a call. And I was like, I'm not going to say anything.
And then Patrick Mahomes goes through your mind. See how these things could be learning experiences
for
everybody?
Right? Yeah. I called the kids over and I said, we're not going to lose this game because of the officials.
There you go.
Bottom line.
There you go.
So
there's
no reason to talk about the officials. There's no reason to complain about them. We're not going to lose because of the officials. We're good enough to win regardless of the officials. So let's do it.
Did you?
We did. Yeah.
Excellent. Congratulations. Yeah. What's the record? What's the
played two.
Megs?
We had a bomb
7th grade
scare us out. We're 2-0.
Awesome.
We got a big game tonight in Nelsonville, and then Monday night we got a huge game at Athens. I hear Athens is really good. So
Monday night at Athens.
Monday night.
All right, I have to check my calendar. I probably have a concessions game that night. Got to make some money for our baseball team.
What do you do? Do you do concessions for the girls' games?
Boys and girls.
Oh,
home games. Yeah. Junior high. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you will.
Yeah,
you will.
Our girls' games have been very low profit at the concession stand.
Well, I can see that. They probably don't bring as many people.
A couple of factors.
Not the.
Well, a couple of factors. One, our girls, they dress everybody for both games. And so typically you'll have the 7th grade game, and then the 7th graders will come out and they'll be hungry and thirsty, and they'll be buying a lot of stuff. And they'll just continue to buy stuff through the second game. But now they're all on the bench. Both like the 8th graders will buy some things before the 7th grade game, and the 7th graders will buy things after their game. Now they're all out there. So and their parents are all in there too. And they don't have very many siblings. That's factor number 2. Like the young siblings are the ones that are always spending the parents' money at the games, because that's how you can like keep them. Yeah, go get more popcorn. Go get some more candy. I'm assuming that's their parenting. I don't know. I mean,
depopulation going on out in Eastern
I don't
Mexico.
know. I don't know. But I mean, they played Federal Hawking last week, and I think Federal Hawking brought a total of 5 fans to watch those girls play. I felt bad for them. I mean, every game they've had so far, they've just blown the teams out. So they're legit.
Both teams are really good.
Yeah. So maybe people are like, if we're going to skip a game, it'll be this one. I don't know. I mean, they played Vinton County the other night. The 7th grade just beat the tar out of them, and then the 8th grade, they're like, I was talking to Greg Lloyd. He goes, I think their 8th grade's a little better. I mean, that'll be a good game. After the first quarter, VC was up. Vinton County was up 10-8 after the first quarter. So I'm like, yeah, he's right. We'll keep an eye on this one. After the second quarter, Eastern was up 26-12.
Oh, wow.
Ended up winning by 20 some points.
That's a coaching adjustment.
I mean, it's just, they're good. They got some good ones.
They do.
Yeah. Yep.
They got a lot of good ones for sure. Uh-oh.
What do you think?
They're playing us off, Coach. It's time to shut up. It's like at the Emmys or something, yeah. Remember those situations. Remember those opportunities.
Yeah.
Don't let it impact your emotion. Think about your response. Coaches, players, fans.
Use that formula. Use that E plus R equals O. I mean, and keep that. Write that down. Get a bracelet that says it.
Event plus response equals the outcome. You always have a way to impact it.
Yes.
Might not be the best, but you can impact it.
Yeah, for sure.